Valentine's Day is almost upon us, which means pretty soon we are about to be inundated with any amount of rom-coms that have been waiting in the sidelines, ready to saturate our viewing habits. Now, not all of us are into the sickly sweet for reasons that do, believe it or not, stretch beyond being perpetually single. So here at 80 Geeks, we've come up with some anti-Valentine's Day recommendations. First up, we have Gerald's Game, where a couple takes a trip to a remote lake house to try and spice up their marriage, only for the husband to die unexpectedly after he's handcuffed his wife to the bed, which obviously throws up a few difficulties for her, as you can imagine. Gerald's Game started life as a Stephen King novel and is one of the more recent adaptations of the man's work. It stars Carla Gugino and is directed by Mike Flanagan, who went on to collaborate again in The Haunting of Hill House, that I believe went down a storm on Netflix. I was certainly a big fan. This is probably the tamest of the three films that we're going to talk about today, being more of a psychological thriller than it is a horror, but it does have one scene where it really takes the gloves off, and I'm guessing for the subject matter that we've got at hand here, it'd probably ruin a date night if you stuck it on. It's also worth pointing out that if you are a fan of another Stephen King adaptation by the name of Misery, you know that little Oscar-winning film that starred Kathy Bates and James Caan? You might have heard of it? Well, if you're a fan of that film, definitely check out Gerald's Game, because honestly, the two go hand in hand together. Next up, we have You're Next, which is a fantastic Last Girl Standing invasion horror from 2013. It all centres around a wedding anniversary getaway that goes wrong when a gang of mysterious killers turn up and start picking the family off one by one, only for one member to start fighting back. So this film has an awful lot going for it. We've got a massive country estate set in. We've got killers that wear animal masks that make them all the more menacing, funnily enough. And then we've also, on top of this, got a very creative use of a blender right at the end of the film. So if you're on here in this Valentine's Day, make sure you check out You're Next, because if nothing else, it will just prove to you that a significant other will only hold you back. And if you are coupled up, stick it on anyway. If they haven't met the in-laws yet, it will give them something to look forward to when that encounter finally does happen. Now, as we approach the third and final film on this list, we also approach my favourite, Bone Tomahawk. It follows an ageing sheriff and his posse as they try to track down the town's doctor after she is kidnapped by a gang of cannibalistic cave dwellers. It's a slow burn, but it's got some fantastic dialogue, and honestly, I would sit through something twice as long just for the final act, because there is one hell of a payoff when you finally reach it. If we just scoot back to my synopsis of the film for a second, you may remember that I mentioned something about cannibals, which does imply that we're going to be getting some tasty visuals here, and let me tell you, they do not disappoint. We have perhaps one of the most graphic on-screen deaths that we have seen outside of the torture porn and slasher genres for quite some time. Honestly, it's a treat. And I don't know how to say that without sounding like a psycho. Those are my three recommendations for your anti-Valentine's Day viewing this year. They are some pretty notable recommendations, personal favourites of mine that I'm hoping to pass on to all of you. Whether you're single or in a relationship that you're a little bit too comfortable with, I don't know, I don't care. Just stick them on, because honestly, there is no better time than now when it will perfectly offset all of those films that are vomit-inducing for all of the wrong reasons. So what are some of your atypical Valentine's Day viewing habits? Do make sure you let us know via the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and also make sure you click the notification bell so that you get an alert every single time we've got new content on the way. And above all else, guys, remember to keep it geeky.